If you could call your dead nan, would you do it? It might soon be possible in 2025 and 2026 to phone people from beyond. Today, we're also looking into the news around the Irish presidential election and whether or not it's like Big Brother 2026. Donald Trump's back in the UK once again, and China have decided to go a little bit extra on banning their animals from viewing tech. Hopefully, they're still allowed access to TikTok and many more. Welcome back to Temporally Scripted. We're here again to go around our views of the news. And my good friend is here so that it's not me talking to myself like 2:00 in the morning on a Wednesday. Adam.
Good morning. A pleasure to be here as always. It sounds like we've got some very exciting topics to discuss today.
Absolutely, we have. So before we get into the world news, any news from the world of Adam this week? What's going on in your world, Adam?
Nothing too exciting. I sort of kicked the bed as I was walking and kind of hurt my toe. Thought, it's not too bad. But then woke up this morning and it really hurt.
That's the most middle-aged injury I've ever heard of. So congratulations on that one, sir. Yeah, I get that. When you wake up, bits are falling off, you're like, oh man, that didn't seem so bad when it happened.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just part of life, I guess, one of those little inconveniences. But everything else is all right, I think. How about you? Has there been any major developments in your world?
Well, I did fall over drunk after my wife's birthday on Friday night, and I woke up and had a few aches and pains and bruises in my bum area. But yeah, and it took me about an hour and a half to realize or remember what exactly had happened. So waking up with bruises on your buttocks and not knowing why is always a little bit disconcerting.
Yeah, it definitely would be. Was your wife impressed at you getting drunk and falling over as a birthday gift?
She was as drunk as I was this time, so it was okay. In fact, she doesn't even remember me falling over herself, but I remember her laughing at me about it. So yeah, it was all good. We went clubbing of all things, and actually it was quite good fun. I was very surprised. So I think, if my occasional foray into the outdoors will be to a nightclub, but I am now on a detox until Christmas. So you'll be pleased to hear.
Yeah, I've heard that kind of talk before.
Yeah. Well, I did manage 5 months earlier in the year. Anyway, so grief tech. What the deuce?
I don't know. I guess it's just one of those things. As tech is developing, it's just another application for it, which it's that kind of situation where there's a lot of amazing things to it, and it could be used as a tool. In the same time, it can be kind of terrifying. So yeah, basically what it is, it's people using AI in a way, obviously not to communicate with loved ones who have passed on, but to sort of recreate an avatar of the person who's gone, whether that's in voice or video or even just chat. There's a few different ways that people have done it. But yeah, I think there's a lot to be discussed with it, and I think there's some real dangers for people as well psychologically. It's just it's so alien to anything that we've done in the past.
Yeah, and I mean, even in terms of grief recovery and coming to terms with something like that, it's quite I can imagine it will have quite an impact on that, because part of it is accepting that you can't have a conversation. And also, you don't really know the things they were going to say. And I guess the final point, is it going to be like when they were old and moaning and miserable, or like when they were younger? Like, because you might not want to listen to it when it gets to that stage.
Just this cantankerous old man. It's like always moaning about for weather.
Phoning you up, asking you to fix the DVD player from 5,000 miles away or whatever.
Complaining about bowel movements or whatever.
Yeah. The play button's been the same since the VCR, Dad. There's no difference.
It's that triangle on its side.
And then maybe loads up YouTube and accidentally watches an episode of Temporally Scripted.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, some of it. So in the article that I read, it was from Reuters, and it was just like part of it. They'd interviewed some guy a little bit, but it just some of it just seems really creepy and weird. So one of the things that this guy who'd recreated his father's voice with 11 Labs, he said things like the tone of the voice is pretty perfect. It feels like almost he's here, and it's just, oh, okay, I don't know. And then other ones where he's got it saying, oh, hi son, how are you? Kisses, I love you, bossy. And it's just like, wow, there's just something about it. I think it's really dangerous to sort of have that carrying on. I think everyone has the same thing as well. You sort of think, well, when I die, I want people to miss me a little bit, but well, I hope so anyway, but not like over the top of have like years and years of grieving, or everyone wears black clothes and doesn't smile for the next decade. It's like,
oh no, that's what I want.
On various statues of you put up around the city.
Yeah, and I want to be stuffed as well. So that
doing the podcast, but in a museum.
Yeah, so that I can not just be a burden on my children, but my children's children and my children's children's children.
Good.
Oh, mate, they're like, Dad's died. We're gonna have to take great granddad Jack now in the living room because he's gonna have to move down. But yeah, I mean, so I get it and I understand missing someone, but I just don't think it's necessarily very healthy. And then what's next? You get a robot built that looks just like your dad or your mum, and it can come around and visit you and stuff. And
yeah,
like, where does it end?
Well, I guess in various ways. So you have like robotics, which is one side of it. At the moment, so we can do with things like 11 Labs, we can do voice pretty well. There's a few different video tools that are good for consistent characters. We've kind of got that. But I would think in the future when someone dies, you could probably feed like their Facebook account, their internet history, a few photos of them, a couple of videos, maybe a little bit of information about their history and life, put that all into an AI, and that could probably do some kind of like almost Sherlock Holmes style deduction on exactly their personality types, how they would answer different questions, what they would think about different things. And from that, you could probably make a recreation that was really close to that person in terms of their personality, their views, their beliefs, everything. And then could you merge that with some kind of robot? Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, particularly if they got access to your Facebook and the way you interact with things and your messages and all of that kind of stuff, they might see a few dodgy things you were clicking on and whatnot that they didn't necessarily
As you
know
scrolling, you looked at that picture for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Kittens and stuff. They always get me, those cute little kittens on Facebook. Can't help but have a little slow scroll over those. But yeah, I mean, it's true. One of the things that is funny though, like 11 Labs cannot get my voice right. It's the most frustrating thing ever. So I've given 11 Labs the maximum amount of training data you can give it, some of which from our podcast where I've silenced your voice and just put mine in and cut all the gaps out. Sorry about that.
It's not that's usually your editing process anyway.
Yeah, it's not a relaunch plan. But basically giving it all of that stuff, and then the little 30-second clip sounds perfect. It sounds just like me. But then as soon as I give it a longer script, it just turns me into a Cockney.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So one of the tricks with 11 Labs is when you're getting it to do something, just use like a paragraph at a time, like small clips each of text that you want it to do.
See, I get that, but then for me, and I mean, not to go too much off topic, for me, then I might as well just record it on the script with the microphone. It just becomes, if I can't just put in a ton of text and it sound like me, then it becomes it's a blocker. Do you know what I mean? It makes it like, why would I not just record it myself then?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wrote a little blog post about this the other day, just for like, it's best just to record it yourself. You know, it's like you got this thing of like, oh, it's AI, it's really cool, and it is, but it's like it's not quite there yet, and it's so much more authentic to have your voice on something, even with like little cops or or whatever little mistakes and things, rather than the way that I think all 11 Labs stuff that I've heard sounds. It always has this AI kind of voice to it. And as soon as I seem to be quite good at hearing it because I've made quite a bit of stuff with it. But as soon as I hear it on a video, it's just that video is getting switched off straight away. Just like, because it's inauthentic.
Yeah, and the other thing I find is it's very good with if you make a good AI clone, you can record your voice speaking, and then the AI clone will just lip sync you.
Yeah.
So and then you can so what I do is I get a quilt around my microphone because my room's quite echoey, and I get myself in like a nice wrapped around this microphone so the sound's really good, and then I'll record. And granted, it's quite difficult to get used to reading a script in a natural way, but over time you'll just get better and better at it. And then I always put on my videos that it's my AI clone if I use the AI clone. So it's not like I'm not trying to deceive anybody. It's just like, hey, this is, my AI clone. I used it so that I'm not limited as to when I can record content. And I just occasionally do that way.
Which is fair enough. Because I guess that way as well, it's like with your AI clone, and it's the same with doing like headshots and different things like that, where when you use AI to do it, it's like having a professional photographer, like really good lighting setup and all that kind of thing. And you can't always get that without getting a team of people or someone in to do it.
Yeah. And I mean, that's one of the things I find is interesting because it's an interesting philosophy on it, because I use quite a few AI photos in my content and stuff. And one of the things I'm always battling with is trying to get it to look like somebody just took the photo on an iPhone, because the back's always blurry, and it's like they always look like hyper edited and polished. And you can kind of trick it by it being me eating some noodles, for example, in a clearly Vietnamese setting. So people will look at it and they'll go, oh yeah, it's Jack, he's eating noodles, he lives in Vietnam. It kind of, people don't really notice, but if you really looked, you'd be like, does this dude have like a professional photographer with him every time he goes out? Like, I mean, I kind of do because my wife's Vietnamese, but like, it's still, I kind of do have a professional photographer with me at all times, but it gets ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, so back to the story, Mr. Diego Felix dos Santos, $22 a month for a dad seems like a reasonable price, right? But I think the guy needs to maybe do some grief counseling and begin to let go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people have always done something a bit like this in a way. So not everybody, but some people. So it's like some people go to psychics and things like that. People who clairvoyants, whatever, people who can contact the dead, and they'll ask them to talk to like dead relatives and things like that, which is really strange. And everyone knows that it's a con, basically, and the same as with this.
Do you know any? Have you got any men in the family? I'm feeling like there's an old man in the family. Well, yeah, my grandma was married to an old man. Oh, okay, and I'm getting the name John. The name John's coming through to me.
Or it's
John,
a just sound. What, like a James or a John, two of the most popular names for that generation at the time. And they always come back with it's like they always say through the psychics, these dead people allegedly say really boring things. You know, it's never sort of like about the afterlife, what it's like to die, or for winning lottery numbers for next week or something. It's always just like, oh yeah, and he's seen in your house, and where you've got the TV now, he said it'd be better on the other side. You know, and it's like, all right, yeah, cheers.
Yeah. I mean, that's just giving me an idea out of that. I might set up an 11 Labs voice of my dad and then make a voice note that says, "Son, I always meant to tell you that you were my favorite child," and then send that to my brother. He'll find that quite funny. I think that would be quite. We could also start playing tricks on my mum.
Well, it's definitely reached a whole new level today.
That's just the kind of family we are, my friend. It's just the kind of, there's a lot of love and there's a lot of fun in there. Imagine that, just creating a Facebook for my late father and then start sending voice notes to my mum.
A lot of people would say that's pretty weird, but well,
yeah.
I don't know if...
Well, I mean, you know, Mr. Dos Santos from, you know, the Reuters interview might think that that's perfectly acceptable technology.
I think he clearly does. Yeah, I mean, the same as sort of, I guess, the CEOs of another company. I can't remember what it was. I think it's further in the article. So yeah, there's another company called Eternos that helps people to create an AI digital twin after losing people, or I think you can set it up before you die and things like that. And it's just, I don't know, it's one of those things, because the CEO of it sort of says things like, well, the goal of this technology isn't to create digital ghosts, but it's to preserve people's memories and things. And it's like, yeah, maybe, but really isn't the aims of this company just to make money and not really care if they're doing good or doing harm to anyone? There's a market for this, and so it's like, yeah, sure. Oh, the aim isn't this. It's yeah, sure, but if the aims are so noble, make it cheaper, make it free, do it out of the kindness of your heart. You know, or get the government to run it.
Yeah, this is true, and I mean, I see it. Like, I see, because they do this thing where they get you now to like get your old person or dying person to record stories that people might not know. So they record all their stories and then they like curate all of these stories and put them into a book. And I was like, that's pretty cool. There's some things that with my dad passing away, like I wish I knew more stories about things and other stuff. But then that being said as well, I'm almost at a point where it's like, and so what? What am I going to do? Like sit and revel in the stories of my dead father, and like I remember the memories me and him shared together, but why do I need to know about what he was doing in like 1964 when he was on submarines or whatever? Like, it's cool to know a few of these stories, but I don't need to sit down and read a book about these things. It's almost like, in some ways, it's quite, is it egotistical? Is it like, what? There's something quite strange about it. It's not your ego, but it's like, why? There's so many other things you could read.
Yeah, and it's like almost like an inherited thing. I think
Why?
also as well though, if there's like if there's someone who's passed and you sort of say, oh, I wish I knew more of their stories, or I wish I'd spent more time with them, but now it's too late. Isn't that one of the lessons that you're supposed to learn? It's like, oh, I didn't spend that time with granddad or whatever. I should probably spend more time with the people that I'm close to and I love, and learn more about them, learn some of those stories and things like that, and I don't know, because maybe there is a lesson in that thing of like, once something's gone, it is gone.
Yeah, I can relate to that, and I it resonates with me as well. It's like I think that is the case. And then you forget anyway. When my dad passed away, I was like, oh, I want to, with my mum, I want to do more and get more pictures. And then you don't do it because it's just you've got your own life to live and get on with, and that's just part of it. Like part of it is you just have to accept that there's loss and grief, and I'd much rather sit and listen to like Marcus Aurelius's stories than like my granddad or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
with the utmost respect, he was a postman for 30 years or something. Like, I'm sure he's got some pretty cool war stories, but the rest of it, what was it? I was driving my Ford Fiesta while I was delivering parcels for the Royal Mail. Although my granddad was a legend where he actually, because back in the day you could retire at 55 as a postman, and because he was in the war, he didn't start until he was about 35. So he worked for the post office from 35-ish to 55, and then he retired and claimed full salary pension until the day he died at 96.
That's a good life.
That's 41 years of claiming a full salary.
Years of working.
Yeah, and people blame the government for the state of the economy today.
It was all your granddad.
Anyway, so moving on to the next story that I have here on the list. So I mentioned at the beginning, we've got the Irish presidential election coming up, right? And usually elections, you see, it's started to get a bit more varied over the last 10 years, right? Obviously, Donald Trump's not a politician, and he came in and has been the president twice in the United States. And in Ukraine, obviously, we've got Zelensky, who used to be a comedian, I think, and like a reality TV show sort of person. And this week it started coming into my head that like in Ireland, they sort of have a similar thing going on. So I don't know if you've heard about any of this, but in the last week, Bob Geldof has ruled himself out of the Irish presidential election. We've also had Michael Flatley,
For Riverdance guy.
The dude, like the river, they totally. If you're in the back row of Riverdance, is rubbish, isn't it? Because if you can't see below their waist, you just
so everything else, yeah.
Well, that's all you can see, isn't it? There's none of this going on. But also, Conor McGregor dropped out as well. So it seems like there's a who's who of like Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother 2026 going on in Ireland.
Does sound like that.
An old Bob of the Boomtown Rats, which I don't even know why they put that's the reason for him being famous.
Because that's how he got famous, isn't it? It was essentially like a one-hit wonder. No one knows any other Bob Geldof songs. There's only I Don't Like Mondays by the Boomtown Rats. No one knows any other stuff that he's done.
No, he's been dining out on that for like the past 50 years, hasn't he?
Pretty much, yeah. I can't think of any of the Bob Geldof songs. I guess it was it for Heal the World or something like that, where they all got together for Band Aid or Live Aid or something. I can't remember. But they're the only two things he's been in. Yeah,
and I mean that charitable, being a charity man has definitely done him okay in his life. He's seems to be doing all right.
Yeah, strange, isn't it? But I
I mean,
guess,
his daughter's pretty famous as well, so I think generationally it seems to be all right. It's weird. He must be the first person to ever have attained generational wealth by having a one-hit wonder. He must have had a great deal with his record company.
well, I guess it's from there. It's like somehow the fame that followed, but I guess through like for Live Aid and charity work stuff and things like that. And then I guess once you have that fame, you can write a book, you can do TV shows, appear as whatever. I don't know, and it's one of those things with celebrities that end up getting political. You sort of go, okay, are you really qualified to speak on these subjects? I don't know. They might have read some books. I don't know, but a lot of the time it's like at the moment there's different musicians who always make political statements about different things, and it's always like, well, what authority are you on that? You wrote some songs, you did a lot of tours, got wasted, had a fun time, and now you're going to tell me who I should vote for, or which person is better than another, or I don't know, or educate me on political philosophy. I find it confusing.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, so apparently he made his money by TV. He was the owner of a TV company called Planet 24, and they apparently owned The Big Breakfast, which was then sold to Carlton TV for a very, very large sum of money. So it seems like he made most of his money through TV production, but certainly he got the connections through what he did with Live Aid for sure.
Interesting.
And yeah, his reasoning for not wanting to be the Irish president is not that he's not qualified, it's that he's too busy.
Okay. I mean,
So
it's one of those things. I guess we talked about it. We talked about it in the previous episode about how there's like a level of patriotism or something like that. And so if the prime minister's going, oh no, I need tickets for the Arsenal game or whatever, and I need to be in the box because it's cheaper and better for the country. And it's like, no, you're meant to be in charge of a country. You don't have time to go and watch football. So, I mean, maybe Geldof's being honest in that, yeah, I don't have time to be full-time leader of my country, which I guess is fair enough. Maybe he just doesn't feel that patriotic calling.
yeah, but I mean, what's driving it? It's interesting. Like again, I guess politicians are not the best at what they're doing in general anyway. Like obviously in the UK, we basically have a political crisis and most of the people involved are just fairly corrupt in one way or another, whether it be morally. Obviously, none of these claims are founded in any evidence before people try and sue me for stuff. But generally speaking, it's like there's no real quality in the ranks of politics anymore. Like if you looked back in the day, do you remember Spitting Image? It's like a comedy.
Yeah.
But then if you look at that and you look at the characters and the level of people that were in British politics back in the 90s or late 80s, you had people like John Prescott or people like the dude who's got one eye. I can't remember his name. He was prime minister for a bit. And like you have like all these other characters that have a bit of oomph about them, a bit of passion, and they seem like they've been around the world a little bit, regardless of what you think of them, right? And now you look at politics and it's like, who are these people?
Yeah, a lot of them they don't seem to have like a strength of personality. They don't seem to be strong characters. A lot of them find it hard to believe what they're saying. Maybe because it seems like they don't have any personal beliefs other than just trying to placate people or convince people to vote for them or let them keep their jobs. And everything's like this weird thing where they're kind of trying to like balance things out in some like democratic way and always like appeal to each side and never say, I don't know. It's like there's nothing there. And I don't know if they have. Sometimes you just wonder, why are you doing that job? Because you don't really seem passionate about it or anything like that. I mean, that's one thing, I guess, with some politicians like, I don't know, Farage or Trump or something like that. They'll go, oh, I love my country. You go, oh, okay. Yeah, and I believe you. But with that, it's just like, I don't know where they're at or what they're saying or what's true.
Yeah, and I think it's authenticity. You can feel a level of authenticity coming through with those people. I mean, I personally think if you can happily go and put on social media, like, I hate my country, then that should be one of these social media crimes. They just deport you to like Chad or something. do you know what I mean? And it's like, do you like it here? And they're like, no, I hate it here. Okay, where do you want to go next? And they just keep like moving you places until you find somewhere that you're happy with, like Palestine or something.
Well, maybe this is it. You need to go back to the UK, start running for some kind of office and implementing some of your unique laws.
No, thank you. I'm good. You know, I would also, never mind. We won't go into that. I was going to talk about, you know, inviting everyone for a free leaf blower, and everyone that arrives, we incarcerate them, because people who blow leaves they don't deserve any place in society. It's like, yeah, like, what are you doing? It's in autumn. It's the biggest waste of time ever. Oh, look, the leaves are falling down again. I'm going to go spend an hour blowing them into the corner and then sweeping them up, putting them in a bag. It's like,
make a load of noise and then do the same thing a week later.
Yeah, someone should put that leaf blower where the sun does not shine. It's like hoovering outside, but if you called it hoovering, people wouldn't do it because they'd realize how ridiculous that is.
Yeah, so I guess it is the same thing.
Yeah, it's like ironing swimming shorts.
Or ironing socks or something like that.
Just something random like that. Like leaf blowing, really. I mean, the worms will come and pull them under and eat them. Do you know what I mean? It's like
in a year or two.
Well, no, they yeah, but still, that's what they do. There's enough. If there's enough earthworms, which there isn't, because most people's lawns are like
because of all the leaf blowing.
Well, the leaf blowing and the chemical obsession with, you know, a perfectly laid out lawn. Down with lawnmowers as well, actually, while we're at it.
Yeah, and people do go crazy for like lawns and things like that, and they'll spray different chemicals on. And isn't that one thing with golf courses as well? People are more likely to come down with certain kinds of cancer if they live close to a golf course. I think.
Oh, good. There's one behind me over there. Yeah.
I think that was mainly in the US, and I'm sure here they use much better chemicals and much safer.
I'm sure they do. Yeah. I'm sure they do. It is like 500-600 meters away, so it's not like I'm next door to it. I guess what they're saying is if you live like backed onto a golf course, then
I think so. Just because of all the stuff that they'd spray on, and I guess that could end up in the air or goes into like water and things. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, good times.
Thanks for that, Adam. Appreciate that, mate. Dickhead.
No worries.
But yeah, so if you were Irish, because I could be Irish, I'm entitled to an Irish passport because of my grandmother being from Belfast, and then the Good Friday Agreement. So I could get an Irish passport, which I might do, because it would be funny to have voted for Brexit and then get an Irish passport so I can live in Europe. Just putting that out there. But if you had a choice between Michael Flatley, Conor McGregor, Bob Geldof, where's your vote going, Adam?
Jeez. That's really tricky. Probably Michael Flatley, because I know nothing about him, but there's a good chance he's a secret genius or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and his acceptance speech. Thank you very much.
But then, then at the same time, can you imagine Conor McGregor's acceptance speech when just kind of like...
Yeah, well, the thing with Conor McGregor is I would wonder, you know, when they do like the debates, is he going to get confused and think it's one of those pre-fight meetups and start pushing Bob Geldof and maybe give Michael Flatley a slap or something? And then Michael Flatley's going to kick the shit out of him. Like,
kicks him so many times he thinks he's surrounded.
Yeah, and maybe that's what happened, and he's dropped out because he's had a phone call from the UFC being like, "Yo, Michael, we've never seen that. We've had Brazilian jiu-jitsu, like we've had kickboxers, we've had, you know, mixed martial artists, like you name it. Never had a river dancer."
And now is the time.
Yeah, this is it. It's crazy. I think I probably would vote for McGregor, just because I'm not a voter, but my general rule of thumb, if I do, is like disruption. And he also has a Lamborghini yacht. I don't know if you've ever seen a McGregor's Lamborghini yacht, but he's a man of the people, you know?
Yeah, because I think most people in Ireland have a Lamborghini yacht. I don't think it's anything to do with the money that McGregor made. I think it's compulsory in Ireland.
No, and I mean, to be honest, it's quite cheap at 3.1 million euro.
Right, okay.
Look at this.
Pretty good going.
Look at this this boat. It's quite nice, isn't it? And look, there he is waving at people from the back of it. See?
Yeah, looks like a president to me.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we will watch. I mean, it's going to be a much more boring run to presidency now that these three are not included, but we will watch in anticipation to see who takes over the juggernaut of Ireland in Europe.
Yeah, which is probably quite a big job, because I think we've got quite a lot of problems over there at the moment. I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
This is the worst thing that's been going on since the potato famine.
Either way, I don't think it's a job that I would want to do.
Yes, I'm not of that country. It's the worst thing since the St. Patrick got rid of all the snakes.
Yeah, right, because the snakes are pretty good.
They had they had a big snake problem, and St. Patrick came and drove away the snakes from the island of Ireland.
It's impressive.
Indeed. Anyway, moving on to more important news. So, what the dickens is this about, Adam? You sent me this news story earlier this week. A Chinese zoo has banned visitors from showing reels to a baby chimpanzee called Ding Ding. What the dickens?
Yeah, I don't know. Mainly just because I saw the headline and thought it was funny.
Well, you're not wrong.
got into this story. There's not a great deal of content in it, really.
Is it a cocomelon issue? Like, is there's some kind of, not focusing at monkey school? Like, what's going on here?
Well, apparently we've just told tourists like not to show stuff like Reels and TikTok and things like that to this baby chimp.
Okay.
Because it said it could damage its eyesight and it could trigger stress. Remember, said if a chimpanzee cannot see clearly and cannot communicate with humans, it may become anxious, leading to health problems. Yeah.
So who's showing reels to monkeys? And like, when did this become a thing? Because I've been to a few zoos in my time, and never in these zoos have I thought, you know what, this tiger might be a bit bored. I'm just gonna show him my reel feed on TikTok.
Yeah,
and just give him a bit of entertainment. I mean, I understand people holding phones this way to take videos, but like, is that a thing now?
Apparently so. Maybe someone's gone, oh, poor chimpanzee, it doesn't have a phone. Here you go. You can watch some reels. It was probably watching a temporally scripted shorts video on YouTube, and it was like, oh, I really want to like and subscribe and share, but I just can't. And that's why I was getting angry. He was trying to tell the human, just hit that like button, hit that like button.
Smash it.
They just wouldn't.
Yeah,
Which, by the way, folks, help out the baby chimp and smash that button.
Smash the like and subscribe. I think I might turn a thumbnail into that. You know, the chimpanzee with a phone with our logo on the front of it, temporally scripted. I think that would be quite a good thumbnail.
Probably would do.
Yeah, but I guess it is. It must be. I mean, that's the most bizarre thing about the story, right? I mean, of course, anxiety in chimpanzees is something very close to my heart, and is a serious issue that I am invested in deeply. And in fact, that the charities I like to follow are mostly about animal anxiety, because I think it's something that would make a big difference to the world. But outside of that, why are people showing reels to animals? I don't understand. I'm confused about. That's the bit that confuses me the most.
It's really bizarre. But also it's kind of funny that the zoo's kind of warning people not to show animals these things, but for everybody else it's fine. Show your kids as much TikTok as you want. It's no problem.
Yeah, it's almost become like the reverse of that as well, because we do let my son watch the phone, mostly just so that we can get a minute's rest, but not as much as some other people. And it's like, now if you're in a restaurant and your kid's acting up, everybody just looks at you like, just give him a phone, man. Yeah. Like, we're trying to eat here. Just let him watch something. So you feel like a bad parent for not letting them watch crap.
Yeah, like an irresponsible adult if you don't, because your kids can be kicking off and everyone else is trying to eat in the restaurant or whatever. And yeah, it's a tricky one.
Yeah, so like, how dare you not pacify your child? I mean, you should just bring out some kind of sedative.
Right? Just inject them with something.
Just children in public sedative. It's like, whoa. You brought your kids out. Have they had a sedative? Wow, not allowed in. Off you go. What a bizarre news story.
It is really bizarre, but it's a bizarre world that we live in sometimes.
Indeed it is, my friend. So moving on from bizarre into something a little bit more meaty, right? And this story is related as well to the healthcare system and, some of the crises we have in healthcare. A drunken raccoon's life has been saved after a nurse performed CPR on him. And apparently he was nearly drowning in moonshine as well. So the story gets even better than that. Clearly this was in Kentucky. I don't know if this raccoon has got health insurance. Presumably, look, here we go. I don't know if we can see this very
she
clearly.
Basically just, there was 2 raccoons in there, so I believe, but one of them, she got out. The other one wasn't moving, so she used like a shovel to try and get it out of this, I don't know, what do you call it, a dumpster. And so inside I think it was next to a distillery or something like that. So in the trash was all like fermented peaches. And so I guess raccoons have gone and gone, smells pretty good. And then just gone from it and had a bad time. I don't know if one of them kind of like started to drown in the liquid that was in there or was just really, really drunk. But yeah, I just thought it was quite a heartwarming thing that just shows like the goodness of human nature sometimes. But this woman who saw this animal and was like, took pity on it and was like, oh, I'm going to try and save its life, and did. It's just, there's something really nice about that.
There's not enough news like that, is there? Most news is like death and destruction and financial ruin and people doing things they shouldn't be doing. And you name it, right? There's always something that if you open the average news channel on page one, it's going to be all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, someone saving a drunken, drowning raccoon. It's pretty cool. I like it.
I always think raccoons would be like really good pets as well, because it's like there's some weird sort of cross between like a lemur, a dog, and some kind of monkey thing. They're just really, really strange animals, but I don't know, we're kind of cute in a way.
Do you think part of that
intelligent?
Yeah, do you think part of that is from watching the cartoon series The Raccoons when you were a young'un, or
probably all of that is due to it?
Yeah. Growing up in the late 80s and early 90s, you know, the Raccoons was a staple of our TV back in the day, wasn't it?
And they sort of forget reality that they hang around trash all the time, and they do carry rabies sometimes.
Nice, yeah. Which is, you know, the move when I first moved to Vietnam, that was one of the shots that I negated to get because it was, you know, prohibitively expensive. I think they wanted £100 for that.
Oh, right, okay. I think the thing to do is just if you get bitten by something and it's suspected rabies, just sort of get to a hospital and have the injection done. Because it's one of those things, once you get it, there's not actually any coming back from it. I'm sure it's only like one person who's ever survived rabies or something.
Yeah, my
sense.
Yeah, my virtual assistant, she got bitten by a kitten that she had in the Philippines, and then she started to feel super sick. And she went to the hospital and they tested and it was rabies, and they gave her the shot and she survived. But she just stayed at home for like half a day, just feeling ill and then not linking the two things. And then she told me she'd been a bit quiet for a couple of days. Like, "You all right, Ben?" She's like, "Oh yeah, no, I had rabies and I was like, "What?" you do realize that that was like potential like death. She was like, "Oh yeah," it's like pretty cool about it. But yeah, that's given me a full blast from the past. I'd almost forgotten that this cartoon existed. Definitely dating ourselves here.
Same here. But, yeah, like Cyril Sneer and
this is Cyril Sneer, isn't it? What is he?
I don't know.
What animal is Cyril Sneer? I mean, he looks. Is it an elephant? It can't be an elephant. That wouldn't make any sense, would it?
I really don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that for raccoons as well. But in that picture, it doesn't look as good as I remember.
No, it's not quite as. I mean, maybe it's because you only had like 4 channels. And you only got like 1 episode of that a week. So the excitement,
Saturday or something.
Yeah, the excitement was fairly highly built up. So apparently Cyril Sneer is an aardvark. Apparently.
Right, okay.
So, you know, something you've probably got coming in the future is how disappointed you will be when you show your children cartoons of your youth and you think they're going to love this, and they're like, what is this?
And they really don't.
Yeah, there's no dopamine in this, Dad. I'm not interested.
I think some things will always be funny, and I think certain ones will pass down through generations. I think sort of Tom and Jerry or something like that will always be funny, especially to boys, because they love kind of animals and violence and comedy. Kids do, but live it.
yeah, it's pure violence. That's true. Yeah, I remember when I said so, because Ella was watching like some modern rubbish that they call cartoons. I think it's some Korean show about a penguin who's obsessed with toilets. They're called Pororo or something. And I was like, turn this off, put a bit of Tom and Jerry on. And, you know, Pororo is all about like hygiene and safety. And Tom and Jerry's like a mouse and a cat whacking the shit out of each other with a hammer. I was like, look, this is
Yeah,
much
a
more
frying
wholesome.
pan.
Yeah, this is much more wholesome. And you're right, she did love it. So it did come across. The other one that I guess, I don't know if it's just for kids, but grown-ups as well, but Mr. Bean is pretty timeless
Oh, right. Yeah.
and highly popular in this part of the world as well.
Yeah. I think there's just something about it that it's just sort of ludicrous stories, and there's probably aspects of human nature and things like that in there as well that just sort of resonates with people, whilst at the same time being very funny and really good with sort of, I guess, like facial expressions. And yeah, but there's a lot of things about comedy that was quite smart in a way as well.
Yeah, I mean, Rowan Atkinson's a bit of a genius, isn't he?
Yeah. Which again was from like a really good, when you think of like the history of like British comedy, what was around in that kind of era before and a little bit after, it's like really, really good. I mean, you had all like the sort of Monty Python sort of things. You had, yeah, like Rowan Atkinson,
Blackadder.
which was fantastic.
Yeah, it really was.
And there's some really poignant moments in it as well. If you watch Blackadder Goes Forth, that last episode where they actually go over the trenches and basically die. It's like it's really. I remember watching it and just being like, just in full shock, because it really sort of, because you got to know these characters so well, and it was so funny. But then at the end, it shows you what war actually does.
It's really like, yeah, it was those historical references mixed in with comedy was just brilliant. Like I do quite like the whole turnip thing, and I've got a cunning plan.
Yeah.
And you could never really take him seriously when he was doing like Time Team. When he was doing Time Team later, which for those of you that don't know, Time Team is like a show where people, archaeologists, they go and find a site and dig a big hole and try and find stuff,
Often in a car park for some reason.
Yeah, wherever they can inconvenience people the most, I think, archaeologists are like hippies with a science degree, aren't they? Like, how can we disrupt?
Basically, yeah. Well, we'll just get this road closed off and then get the diggers out.
Exactly. Yeah. So, as always, our views here at Temporally Scripted are our own, and you shouldn't take anything that we say too seriously or certainly to heart, because we're all about discussing topics just because they're worth discussing.
And we can.
Yeah. So did we have any other stories? Have I missed anything this week, or are we pretty much
I think that was
through?
it, really. I sent you a link for another one, but basically it's just because on the one about the raccoon, that was like a story linked to it about a guy basically suffering car crash like injuries because of his cat. But it turned out that story was from 2022. But
Right.
it was still kind of funny, just because I don't know if the cat did it on purpose, because cats seem a little bit evil. And it's one of those like hairless cats as well. So it's almost like in Scooby-Doo when they take off the mask at the end and you find out the true disguise. Like, cats with hair that look pretty cute, aren't they? That's what it really is. And apparently it sort of attacked him on the stairs, bit a little chunk out of him, and then he lost his footing and suffered like, I think it was like a broken, one of the bones in his neck was broken, and just horrific other breaks, bruises, and bad injuries and hospitalization. And the cat was called Eric Morecambe.
Nice. That sounds to me like he changed to a lower brand quality of cat food or something.
I think it probably was.
Or he shut it out overnight while he stayed at a friend's house or something. There's something he did there to deserve that, basically. And you don't want to mess with a cat because you're gonna get fucked up.
Quite often, yeah. And cats are just kind of, yeah, a lot of people think they're secretly evil, and they might be.
Yeah, I would say I'm a cat over a dog man. It's like there's something about, like, in this situation, if you discipline a cat with a little slap on the face, it's like it won't talk to you for 3 days. But if you do that to a dog, it still wants to be your best mate. Do you know what I mean? It's like, can I have another one of those, please?
But you can't
you know
just
what I mean?
remember, and they'll start plotting your downfall.
And when you die, it'll like eat your face.
Yeah, 'cause that's actually what cats do.
Exactly that. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That sums us up then. So thank you, everybody, for coming back for another News and Views episode here with me and Adam on Temporally Scripted. Don't forget to subscribe, comment. You know, if I've offended you in any way, let us know, because we really care about those kind of things. Send me an email as well, and I will do my best to push further on that in the coming episodes. Adam, as always, thank you. Thank you for coming along.
Yeah, thank you. It's always fun. See you next time, folks.
See you next time.